During a discussion today at LTUE, or Life, the Universe, and Everything, which is actually a convention for sci-fi and fantasy writers, it's my first time doing a convention online, and it's kind of weird because I attend the panels just by discussing with people, just by looking at my phone, and it's just kind of weird. But one of the discussions, the panels asked us, what kind of game do you think hasn't been made, specifically for a culture or for a era in time? I thought I'd discuss some ideas I've had that weren't mentioned in that panel. So first off, I want to bring up Polynesian Culture. This is Mark of Cree, which is the only Polynesian game I know about. There's actually another game coming out called Tchia, but I don't know if it's Polynesian specifically or it just kind of feels poly. Either way, the Pacific Islands are pretty open. There's maybe a movie about them that you know about, Moana, and there's not a lot of discussion about their culture or their ideas. And there were some really cool moments. For example, when King Kamehameha united the islands of Hawaii, he did a lot of things to get it all to work. He had to create troops, he had to make sure monetary systems were working, he had guns, he had to have long shafts, spears and stuff. He had to work on things and figure things out, so he was a really smart guy. And that would be an excellent game. Another great game would be an exploration game. Polynesians, Pacific Islanders, they know where they're going, even when they don't entirely know themselves, or how we Europeans would think of it. They can dip their hands in the water, they can look at the sky, they can know these kinds of things. And that would be a really cool part of a game, knowing where land is and how to find it. That would just be really cool, and we don't have a lot of games like that. Another thing I'd like to see is Native American culture. Honestly, there aren't a lot of Native American cultural things. They're usually like, and then the white man came. And it's like, no, I'd love to see a game where that isn't happening. You know, where the people involved just go out and they explore on their own. Where, you know, the intertribal systems help you know where to go, and the clan systems are set up so that when you're exploring or you're trying to find things, the different movements and the different peoples will explain things to you. I think that would be really cool, and I would welcome a game like that. I think, honestly, you know, imagine finding old ruins and trying to figure them out, or finding, you know, the horse, or going hunting. That would be huge. And some of these tribes were huge. They could take down thousands and tens of thousands of animals in one fell swoop. So that kind of strategy and thought would be really cool. Another thing I'd like to see is the Napoleonic Wars, but not Napoleonic Wars directly. There's a lot of games about that. But what I would like to see, honestly, is the way Napoleon planned things out. If he could, he would have things move correctly. So if a boat moves, it will move correctly. Somebody is literally moving this boat while he's firing a cannon at them so that he can figure out the strategy. I think that would be really cool. Just having all these things moving on the ground and everybody's trying to move correctly. And, you know, you're firing a cannon. It would be cool. I don't know if it's a board game, but it's definitely a game. And I think we've all played this game in the bathtub, so a game like that would be a lot of fun, and I think everybody would enjoy. Same thing could happen with ancient Greek naval battles. Yes, we have a lot of board games and video games about it, but we don't have any, you know, that interactive game I just explained. I think pirates in the Southeast Asia in general would be great, there's many legends and great stories and heroes and stuff like that that just isn't talked about. And I would love to see that. I would love to see a game based on the Philippines. I know about one game being made by Filipinos right now. And I'll be honest, that's all I've ever heard. Think about that. One. And it's recent. The Philippines have been around for a very long time, so it shouldn't be some kind of weird idea. So that's general. Let's get into some more fun stuff. I'd love to see a game about Northern Africa. There was a trade group between the Middle East all the way to the Niger River and down into what you call Niger, Nigeria, places like that. And we don't know a lot about it today because when we talk about it, we only include Europeans. And I would love to have a story taking place where the Europeans are the outside group that aren't important. And you're trying to explore and trade within Africa. And, your tribe is moving around and you're trying to get goods from this place to this place. Kind of like one of those space freighter games. Only it's in Africa. And, you have to deal with African folklore and ideas. Imagine trying to deal with Anansi. Oh, then the spider showed up. Oh, then the rabbit showed up. Oh, Snake told us this. But do we trust him? I think that would be really cool. And I think a lot of cool game ideas could come from that. Other games I would love to see. South American. Bar none. I don't know of a lot of games that talk about South America. Drug trade gets mentioned and then pretty much it's ignored. I mean, there was an entire campaign to unite all of South America by one guy. I mean, that would be amazing. Why don't we have a game like that? I don't know about any board games or anything like that. So that would be an amazing game. Board game, video game, whatever. The unification of South America. Bam, right there. There's a book in Argentine and South American culture. I forget its name. It's like Juan Pedro or something. Guy's name is unimportant. But it is an excellent book. It's very important to the people of Argentina. It's second to the Bible, as my dad says. And he means it, by the way. He's like, you insult this book, you will get beaten. By me first. But it's got a lot of folklore about gauchos, who are kind of the Argentine version of cowboys. They're very different from the cowboys you imagine. They don't have lassos, they have whips. They have leather, I can't even, chapas and stuff like that. They fight with knives. It would be a cool game to have, this gaucho traveling throughout South America, trying to, get horses and cattle into areas, all while trying to hunt down the monsters that are in Argentine folklore. That would be cool, wouldn't it? I would love that game. Other stories I like to read. I don't mention, or it's been mentioned on the show probably a few times, but I would love to have a more, how shall we say it? I'm actually imagining a live-action RPG only for the betterment of people. You're not leveling up. You're just gaining more skills. I figured this out when I was a Cub Scout leader, and my Cub Scouts just didn't want to be scouts. Scouting was boring to them. It was just this thing that people were like, oh, you should go do this. So I made up new themes and new games for them to play, and they loved it. They ate it up. And I think it would be really cool to continue that idea. You have all these merit badges and things you got to work on, and then make within that kind of a theme to have people move and think about stuff as they try to improve, as they try to learn things, all pointed at, some big battle that they're going to have. We called it the siege because I wanted them to learn how to do siege warfare. They had catapults, they had they didn't have grappling hooks or anything like that. That was just too dangerous. I mean, come on, man. They're between 8 and 10. I'm not about to give them a grappling hook or a ballista, though we did research them. We did try to find out if it was safe, and we just realized, no, it's not. But think about it. Think about a bunch of Cub Scouts proudly carrying their boffer sword as a good Roman soldier, or one of the Germanic tribes, or something like that. I think, you have almost a gold there, because kids really want that kind of stuff, but they're not allowed to do that kind of stuff. They're not allowed to do the cool things, even though kids everywhere want to. They want to be the Power Ranger. They want to be the mighty warrior. This is part of their thought process. This is how they view themselves quite often. So why don't we use this a little bit better? To be honest with you, Boy Scouts, it was based on military stuff. So they referenced military stuff a lot. That's how they were getting stuff accomplished. They were like, oh, in the Army we do this. And all the kids at that time were like, oh, yeah, that's what we should do. But, we haven't been in as many major wars. And, the view of war has changed. So kids look at the uniform and stuff and just go, I'd rather not. But tell them, hey, Roman soldiers did this. Same thing happens. So I think, there's just all these game ideas that I'd love to see. Oh, I would love to see Dreamtime. Oh, ooh. Dreamtime would be where it's Australian native idea where the gods are trying to talk to you through dreams and thoughts. And you have to listen to them and do certain things to reverence them or to do things to support them. So this game would be about traveling as a messenger so that the gods can be taken care of from all the evils in the world. And you're having to tell the people, oh, you need to do this dance now so that it can help them over here. Or, oh, you need to go do this so that it can help them over here. And you're fighting so that you're building up power amongst your gods. But, these are creatures beyond our imagination. And it's just cool to think about. I would love a game like that. Oh, man. What else would I love to see? I'd love to see some more about India. I know of a few games about India, but India gets ignored a lot. The entire Central Asian area, seriously, it gets ignored. I mean, the ideas of traveling peoples just doesn't get talked about. We might have a game about the Silk Road, but not, the peoples who move sheeps and stuff like that. That should be talked about. There's a lot of cultures out there, and for some odd reason we always choose, King Arthur or the samurai or something like that. There are a lot of cultures, and they've got great stories, so I would love to see just more variety. I'd love to see more games. Finally, we had this discussion about the void. What if there's no Earth? How do you have a game? And it finally hit me. What if you're in charge of a solar system and you want to trade goods? That means you have to send goods back and forth between each other, and it's through this orbital system. Think about it. You're the solar system, so you're trying to build up what you need as you're traveling throughout the galaxy. That's some pretty heavy stuff, man. That would be really cool. I would love to play it, either board game or video game. It would be completely different if it was a video game or a board game, but it sounds like fun. A good 30-40 minutes of fun. So yeah, those are my ideas. What are yours? What ideas for games? Not games like, oh, I want to do a side-scroller about this. What cultures would you like to see? How would they be set up? What do you think would be good? What games have I missed out on? I mentioned Mark of Cree, but I'm sure there's other Polynesian games. But this is just the first one I can think of. So if you know anything, let me know. Leave a comment down below. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, or anything like that. All right. Catch y'all later. Bye now.